Hey, welcome to the Push-Pull Sales and Marketing Podcast. I'm Marcella.
And I'm Sherry, and each episode will provide you with sales and marketing strategies that you can implement immediately into your own business. Today, we're going to be talking about leads in regards to lead qualification, lead scoring, lead generation, but we're going to start by touching on finding your target audience and why that's important. And this is something that I consider a lot in the realm of marketing and in the realm of blogging, because you want to be speaking directly to your target audience. They say, if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. You want to be super specific, and this is something that a lot of businesses get caught up in, because you might have a service or a product that you feel very strongly about, and you think, when I say, who is your target audience, I've had business owners come back to me and say, well, we can help everybody. There's nobody, we could help anybody and everybody, and we should be helping everybody. And I'm like, well, okay, that's okay. I'm not telling you if someone comes and knocks on your door and hands you their money, you're going to turn them away. That's not what I'm saying. But for marketing, who is your ideal customer? Who's the customer that keeps coming back again and again? Who's the customer that sees the value in your service and is willing to pay top dollar for that service? That's hugely important. You're making your life easier. And the goal of finding that target audience and marketing to that target audience is that after you have a marketing qualified lead, then you can pass it over to the sales department, and that person is a lot closer to buying, which the sales department appreciates. It's more efficient that way. And you definitely want to begin by identifying it.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and definitely with the sales. I mean, and just in general, from an operational standpoint too. In theory, if you have the same type of client, then you'd have the same infrastructure in place, operations and staff and stuff like that.
Right.
That would be able to handle that. And actually, it's good timing too that we're talking about this. I was listening to an interesting course on what happens when certain businesses try to basically copy another business, and if they do it themselves in their own thing, they actually hurt their brand, because they're not exactly doing their own stuff good, and they're not taking what the other people are doing good. Like, it's not, you can't just take one ingredient from here and stuff like that, and okay, that's exactly what the other people have. So some examples that they gave were, like Sam's Club trying to compete with Costco. Mm-hmm. Even though Sam's Club is a separate offshoot, it still has that Walmart, whatever, and
right. So you're saying it's a different target audience that they should be marketing to a different.
It's very difficult for Walmart should not have branched away and done the Sam's Club unless they would commit to do everything that Costco was doing. But they were doing the same strategies and thinking that, okay, well, if we can do the really, really low prices business, we can also get into the wholesale business. It should be similar, right? Mm-hmm. And it wasn't, because the target audience for a Costco tends to have a little bit more money, a little bit more discretion, bigger houses, driving luxury vehicles, and they have a bigger house so they can actually store all this stuff. So they're going to spend more money on one trip, whereas Costco, the average spend per, or not Costco, Walmart was
right.
less. So they use the Walmart model, and try to apply that to Sam's Club. Okay, we'll just do buy in bulk.
Right.
And we're just going to market to the exact same people. And
but if you have people living paycheck to paycheck, they don't have the money to spend on bigger things of toilet paper. They need to go do those separate trips. And
they don't have ginormous minivans where they can fit everything in. We like to have a game with the kids at the grocery store where when we play it too, where we try to guess the number of how much groceries are going to be.
Costco bill's always kind of depressing. But as far as target audience, you can even come up with, maybe it's only 1, 2, or 3 target personas. So really dive into that and come up with a real person in your mind. You can give them a name. Make sure that you're going to write down their demographic information. You're going to write down, where they're from, their background, what a day in their life looks like, what their struggles are, what do they enjoy doing, what do they worry about the most, what's important to them. And this can really vary. So if your target persona is Molly Mom, a lot of her stuff is going to be taking care of the kids. She's going to worry about the kids. She's going to worry about, a lot of her day might involve that. Where if you're talking about an upper level manager, if you're looking about a C-level professional, their demographics and what matters to them and what their struggles are very different. So let's say in like the health realm, a mom's going to worry about her kid's health. However, a C-level professional might be worried about his health if and only if it starts impacting his productivity at work or something like that. So you're able to, and I think this gets a bad rap when people use the terminology like pain points. If you're marketing to pain points, it sounds like a bad thing. It sounds like you're that you're using people or you're hitting them while they're low. But hopefully you believe in your product enough that you are helping people past that point. So you're meeting them where they're at and you're seeing their struggle. You're talking to them at that point. So and more importantly, they're able to find you when they're searching for an answer to a certain problem. They're going to be looking for a solution. You need to make sure that you're the one that gets placed in front of them when they're looking for that solution. And that's where that inbound marketing comes in, and that pooling part of the push-pull process comes into play. Once you have them in the system, there are some really cool tools out there where you can track them all the way along. So hopefully if a customer came to the website once and stayed there for 30 seconds, that's not the same thing as a customer who came to your website once a day for a whole week and read 3 articles every time they were on your website. That's somebody that is educating themselves about you and your business and who you are. And that's going to be something that you can hand over to the sales department and give them the information. You can say, here's the articles that they read. Here's something they might be interested in. You can send them a particular free ebook or a newsletter or something that might help them get closer to that decision-making process based on meeting them where they're at that stage in the game.
Yeah, well, I find it very interesting that you don't like the term pain points. Basically, you're just finding problems.
I don't mind that so much. I forget where I heard that, and they were saying, the pain points. They were trying to make it sound like they were exploiting people because their pain point. I forget. It was something related to kids, and they were saying that it was a horrible thing to profit from a kid like struggling. So I could kind of see where they're coming from, but on the other hand, hopefully your service is genuine and helpful and will be able to provide a solution that they're looking for.
I gotcha.
So, what would you like to see, from the marketing department? What kind of things do you want to know about a customer? And I know not all businesses work this way. Sometimes, the sales department is the first one to make any contact. Leads are coming in, you'll take leads any way that they're going to come in. So it kind of depends.
Yeah,
how to go about it.
And it's kind of funny that we call it push-pull sales, because really for most businesses now, they might only have a sales department where it's only push. They don't really have a marketing department or salespeople are doing the marketing. And in an ideal situation, it's more like pull-push, where you're going to have the marketing people bring people in, and then the people are going to push the products out into the market and put it in front of them. But in terms of ideal client and sitting down with them, and this is something we do as an exercise for the sales team here. I forget what it's not demographics or maybe demographics is where someone is located, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of, how old they are
how
where
old
they
are.
live and, their salary maybe. It's kind of like the very basic.
The very basic. I forget. There's another term, and now I'm drawing a blank, of course, since we are recording this, where basically I'll ask the sales team basically say, okay, you need to identify our ideal customer or ideal decision maker without the product or service that they actually buy. I need you to describe them. And it's funny because some people they completely draw a blank, and I could find it pretty easily. Well, okay, this is someone that's been in the company, and we probably covered this in another podcast too. It's someone that's been in the company 15 years. They love reports. They're very data driven, stuff like that.
It's going to make a big difference. If you walk in, if someone is data driven, you're going to prepare those statistics. You're going to have the numbers ready. You might have a nice PowerPoint put together. And if there's somebody that hates that and prefers just, chatting with you over lunch and just kind of shooting the breeze, that's important to know.
And you have to know, who. Again, you have to know who is your target market, and it could be something very simple, very very simple. So it could be something that you just have a lot of common ground. It's easy for you to market to them. I know there are people in the financial services industry. They deal only with athletes and only with coaches. It's very easy for them, So they kind of just build their book of business along those lines. But same thing too. You're gonna strain if you try to go after someone else. So it's in terms of making sure you have a good marketing.
You're gonna waste time. It's gonna be ineffective. You're gonna get frustrated. They're gonna get frustrated. You're just kind of adding extra layers compared to there's been times where I've come across such great sales copy or marketing copy that you do feel like the person knows, is living inside your brain.
I was just talking about that. Yeah.
That you go through and you're like, every line you read is like, oh wow, that's me. Yes, I do need that. Oh wow, that's me. And the thing is, sometimes it can get really, really niche, which is a scary thing because a lot of times you feel like you're excluding everyone else and you're excluding other potential sales. But why chase down leads that aren't going to result in anything?
Yeah. You're not selling nuclear reactors where there's only 5 nuclear reactor facilities. I think a lot of that is it definitely is a mental block, and it's very hard to kind of get over to. Like, oh, everyone who does this, that all they want is this, and they only buy on price. There's not people who want value, or there's not people who have that need. I just feel like I can't run into that, or no one can benefit. So, for example, for my company, we have an international, which is a separate company, which does, sister. Yeah, it's a sister company. It does imports, exports, stuff like that, and the sales team, without the proper coaching, will say, oh, well, it just seems like there's no one in Pennsylvania really exports, or no one in Pennsylvania. It's all this. I was like, well. For that information, it's publicly available, and there are a lot of people who export. But when I tell you to go after or to find these people who are exporting, it does make it harder. Now, having a marketing team in place that can find those leads and do that makes it a lot easier,
right?
For that. But in terms of narrowing down, okay, I want to find people who export, people that do like 1 to 100, and people that are in this industry. Yeah, when you narrow it down, you're scared. You're like, okay, well, I only have 100 people in my territory.
Right. And you feel like you're like, the pressure's on to close all of them. The reality of it is you're more likely to have a higher closing ratio, which is going to boost your confidence. It's going to feel better. But I would so much rather look at a list of 100 people and be able to really get to know those 100 people. That seems doable. to get to know those companies, to research more and put your focus there and make sure that you're following up with the phone calls and the emails and everything and giving them curated content based on their interests, compared to saying, here's 500 and, and just kind of see what sticks. Like, instead of just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks, be a little bit more strategic about it.
Yeah, that whole model of the whole spray and pray, it doesn't work anymore. With the internet and information available, there's much more efficient ways to get information and to find out about your customers. And likewise, it's a lot easier for them to find out about alternatives and what is available to the market. So it's not like, when you were making calls 30, 40 years ago and, on the phone you could pitch someone and no one would say, wow, let me go ahead and research. I want to look at some other options now.
Yeah, and people are expecting more personalized service too.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole boutique, niche service, people are definitely looking for that. If they can have, old school, dedicated support, people that answer the phone, friendly people, stuff like that.
Right.
That's funny. Friendly people's old school now.
So we have a couple more things to cover, but wanted to remind you guys that we appreciate any subscriptions and ratings on iTunes. You can share us with your friends if you feel like there's a particular episode that'd be really helpful. You can share through iTunes. You could share through our website, which is pushpullsales.com. And that way, we get new listeners and we get to keep doing this, and we love doing it, and we love providing you guys with this information. If you have any questions at any point or suggestions or feedback or anything like that, you can email us pushpullsales@gmail.com or tweet us at pushpullsales. And our website, we provide show notes there. So if you ever want to reference something, or if we ever reference a link or anything like that, we make sure that we include that in the show notes on our website, which again is pushpullsales.com. Try to keep it simple. All right. So what else did you want to touch on, Marcella?
Well, we can talk further about lead scoring and how this really needs to be a collaborative. It really needs to be a collaborative process between the sales and marketing department. Some of the best companies, each department, pretty much all the best companies, each department works hand in hand and they know how to communicate. I mean, you have that specialization where customer service people are very good and salespeople are good at building rapport and stuff like that. Right. But you want to collaborate with them. So when we talk about lead scoring, we're talking about how to actually define a lead for the sales department and how to define the lead for the marketing department, and make sure that we are 100% on the same page. So starting off with a target market is very important. So a lead for a marketing person might be, well, they filled out the form on the website.
Right.
That is a lead.
Right. They're now they're in the system. Now we have their email address. Now we can send them some more information and follow up with them.
Yeah, and I can give you an example of how just filling out just basic information, it might not be enough. It was kind of funny. Someone went on the website and then followed up with a phone call, looking for information on some sort of warehousing project the truckloads and stuff like that, and into certain warehouses, and it was supposedly for UniFirst. Or not UniFirst, Unisource, whatever. It's behind Procter & Gamble. It's like the number 2 consumer goods product company in the world. So my operations team actually took it, and not my marketing people. Say, hey, I got a really good lead for you. Blah blah blah. It's for this. I was like, well, first off, it's not really a good thing. My company, we don't go after anyone who's really publicly traded, at least on any sort of domestic market, unless it's very small. So if someone is a Fortune 500 company, It doesn't always fit. It doesn't always fit us. So that was one thing. Second, this person was impersonating a person from that company.
Oh no!
It was a college student looking to do a report, and who was not very good and didn't understand the process. So I found that out afterward by qualifying a little bit more. So okay, hey, so what exactly are you looking for? Okay, and I started asking questions, and they didn't know the answer to it. And if someone was in charge of that sort of project, they would know those terms. Like, oh, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. It's like, well, yeah, they weren't. It got to the point where they said, oh, well, I'm going to present this to the board of directors. And again, a $18 billion company does not present a $500,000 contract to the board of directors.
Right.
But in terms of lead scoring and qualifying and stuff like that, the sales team and the marketing team need to go ahead and sit together and decide. So just because they fill out a form, it's not enough, or just because they wanted more information. So you can add some follow-up questions to that can make that a better process. So when you have your sign-up form, what sort of questions do you normally put there for your clients?
For what kind of sign-up forms? Like for like an ebook?
Yeah, if someone wants an ebook or something like that.
It's going to depend on the value of what you're giving away. So people are getting more stingy with even their email address. But if you're looking for even more details, how much does your company bring in, or what state do you live in, phone number, those kind of things, you better be giving away maybe a whole free e-course. Because I feel like a lot of forms that we do is just, your name, maybe your company name, your email address, here's a free ebook, here's a free white paper, something like that, to at least capture that basic information, and we can always ask for more later.
I gotcha. Now, for you as a marketing person, that's great. You have the information. For me as a salesperson, I'd want to know, especially
So that's where hopefully down the road, I feel like we start small a lot of times, and then we can continue to follow up and can continue to get those sort of questions answered for you, because an email address does nothing for the sales department. That gives you no information. You need to know where they're from, who they're working for, how long they've been there possibly, what department they're in, and what kind of budget exists.
Exactly.
And I mean, of course, it depends if you're business to business or if you're business to consumer and all of that. So you're going to but I do definitely want you to take into consideration the value. People aren't just going to hand over their information for nothing. A lot of like retail stores will do it for a coupon. But if you need more,
give you such a hard time if you don't give it to them too.
Yeah. Oh, well, but I mean like online, like pretty much any website you go to now, you're seeing a pop-up of some sort that is, if you enter your email address, you're getting some sort of freemium, sometimes they call it.
Yeah, I gotcha. But
so as far as lead scoring,
I'll give you an example. So when we have things in our CRM system, we like to qualify it basically 1 to 10 for a lead in terms of how likely that person is to be a customer.
10 being
absolutely, 10 being absolutely, and one being no. And we like to think that number is a dynamic number. It's not a fluid. I'm sorry, it's not a static number. It's a very dynamic number. But in terms of questions and stuff like that, and this could work for business to business or business to consumer. And I see some websites too. When are you planning on purchasing?
Right.
The sales department would definitely appreciate that, or budget, or maybe even some. And I see this more in terms of looking at software for businesses. They'll ask, what other software do you have? So if we talk about lead scoring here, if a lead comes across the website and they work with X competitor, and I know in my CRM, okay, 95% of the time when I go against that competitor, I win. So then we can give it a higher score, and we can qualify it more, or someone that filled out the form completely, higher score. So again, you can rank it. Some leads are better than others. I mean, just because you get someone to fill out a form, if they just did the bare minimum and did, I'll give you my email, I'm going to give you a fake phone number, and I'm just going to put in the comments NNNNN.
Right.
You know, it's not going to be the best customer there. I mean, salespeople are going to try to work and stuff like that, but in an ideal situation, your sales department doesn't know what to do with all the leads they have. The marketing department is just doing backflips. They're just so excited. They have so many leads, conversions. Everything is up way, 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 way up. Where you do need to do that. You need to go ahead and lead score because you really cannot follow up on every single comment, you know, that's actually coming across. I mean, for example, on our company website now, and there's in between spam and actual comments, we can't, you know, disapprove or allow or approve. And I think you actually did something on your own personal thing, didn't you? You disabled the comments?
Yeah, I disabled the comments on mine. I disabled the comments. One of the women that I work for, that I help run her blog, and she was like, hey, I noticed that you don't have comments turned on. Like, what's your reasoning for that? And then we ended up turning hers off as well. I do not have the comments on for push-pull sales. Pretty much because of that not a lot of people are commenting on blogs currently. A lot of stuff gets lost. So a customer might ask an important question in the comment section of a blog post or a resource or something like that on the website, and it ends up getting lost under 500 spam comments. Whereas if that's not an option, a lot of times they're going to look for a different option. They're going to go to the contact us form. They're going to go to where you list your email address. They're going to give you a call. They're going to tweet you. All of those things are better alternatives, and I would rather have someone using the contact us form, using my email address to get in touch with me, or even, you know, social media to get in touch.
We could probably do a whole podcast just on the comment section.
Yeah, so it's something to consider. Don't just, you know, a lot of times I think we get stuck in like, well, it's there and it's always been there and that's how you've always done it, but be open to
that drives me crazy. The whole
that's how we've always done it. It's probably something that you hear a lot as a reason that people aren't buying. Even something small. I'll give you an example.
We were at a client, and you know, my international person says, okay, well, you know, can you load this container? You know, I'll get you a quote for it. Oh no, we're not able to load that container. I've been at your facility. I've seen. Why not? Oh no, we can't. Well, I'll have to check back with you. Blah blah blah. And it turns out in 1985 they tried to load that container, but they used the wrong kind of truck to set it up and put that in there. I'm like, you have a modern facility. I'm like, you're able to load that container. Oh, well, we tried once and it didn't work, and this
right.
is why. I'm like,
and now we'll never do it again.
Yeah, it was a truck that didn't have the right kind of chassis. I'm like, that has nothing to do with it. So you're going to spend $10,000 instead of $2,000 because you don't know. But that definitely drives me crazy. But in terms of,
what about like lead generation? What are some of the ways that you
lead generation?
Yeah.
In terms of the marketing people, our marketing department did a really, really good job. We used to have a newsletter we'd send out monthly. That went very well. Targeted blogs in terms of pulling people in. So again, talk about lead scoring. If someone went on a certain blog that was,
like shipping, shipping information related to the retail industry or something like that.
Yeah,
you have a better idea that that's where they're coming from. Or if they're reading the blog that's about, shipping machine parts, then you have an idea that that's where they're coming from.
Exactly.
So it can give you helpful information, and a lot of times those are that's organic traffic that's coming to you. They're finding you thanks to Google or whatever, Facebook or something. And it's nice when they can come to you first. And
in terms of ranking that, and then this is how my company, for the way my company operates, we're very hands-on, we're very knowledgeable. The way we offer our services and stuff like that, we do analysis first, and then we go ahead and present pricing and do some custom programs for it. most of the industry, and we stay away from that in terms of our target market, is just putting out access to 20 carriers and you just pick the cheapest one.
Right.
So, for example...
It's more of a personalized service.
Yeah, exactly.
And
highly personalized.
Yeah, and make sure that you are featuring those things that differentiate you from your competitors, which I know we touch on a lot, but think of it in terms of relation to your target audience. So
if you have no differentiation, it's just your commodity, and then it has to become about price.
There's some people that do want to do everything themselves, that they want to run all the numbers, and they want to see the options and compare it for themselves. And maybe that's not a good fit for you. Maybe, you're going after the people that want to put their trust in you, that do not have the time to do all the busy work and make all the phone calls and do all the negotiations, so they can hire you. And that's who you want to be going after, the people that value the time and effort and expertise that you're putting into your service.
Yeah. You pretty much hit the nail on the head there. What I was going to say, though, backtracking just about the lead scoring and again how you would do that. So someone that goes on the website and says and ask a question about, hey, I don't know how to properly classify this product, or I'm looking at this sort of service or anything like that, is going to be a lot better client than someone that immediately says, I just want a freight quote, and they give you data to run one quote.
Right.
That's not really ideal for me. Someone that has a one-off shipment is not ideal for me. So that's why we also include in our website, how often do you ship? Once a month, once a week, stuff like that. So this is a one-off person. This is a residential thing, or for, someone wants to get an engine from some junkyard to their garage for their hobby car. That's not my ideal customer. I'm not gonna, put everything on hold for that. So we talk about the backtracking though. You talked about the different marketing sources. So you have the inbound leads, Google traffic, trade show, stuff like that. So you can also score those as well. Mm-hmm. So your marketing people that are out and about at the trade shows, talking to people.
Right. If you have a sign-in sheet or something like that, it's not everybody on the list. It's who talked to you. What did you talk about? Who took your business card? Who took a specific kind of pamphlet if you have different products or different services?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and that's something you need to put the marketing people to work too, or the salespeople to work. If you have a lead from a channel partner, if you have a distributor, something like that, where you have someone who's basically giving you a lead source, they get some sort of kickback, they get some sort of money out of it. Who's more motivated and who's not too. So even I hate to basically you're gonna stereotype, you're gonna kind of give people a black mark who don't do anything. You say, well, this lead here came from Joe, who's my accountant here, and I have a deal with Joe. I give him, $300 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Joe's giving me a bunch. He always comes through everything he has. I mean, they're quality people. And then someone else who, man, every time this independent guy, he basically he makes us do all the work. He's not doing anything. Man, let's just say it's like an independent sales rep or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he might have a lead that might be in your territory, something like that. Or, hey, I know this guy, I want your help to help me close this lead. You might be able to say, no, sorry, we're going to hold off on that. That's not really an ideal thing, or it's not enough information.
Right.
So lead scoring is important.
And you had said earlier, too, that, and it doesn't necessarily mean you might not be totally ignoring somebody that might not be, it's just you need to prioritize. The better leads need to be the ones that you're chasing after first, or closing, more quickly. And it doesn't mean that you might never get to some lower scoring ones. Hopefully you're busy enough that you're always getting good enough leads that you don't need to spend the extra time and effort on people who are not your ideal customer. But if you're in a position, just make sure that you're at least prioritizing, and, You
got to know when to hold them, got to know when to fold them, got to know when to walk away. So to kind of give a quick recap and everything. First off, what you want to do is you want to talk to your target market. So you got to get very, very specific. Your marketing people should be on 100% on the same page as your salespeople. So this is a collaborative task in terms of who your target market is. If you're not, if I were to ask my marketing team and say, okay, hey, who exactly is the ideal P&G customer, and don't tell me what products they buy, they better be able to tell me that. And then same thing with the actual salespeople too. Okay, who's the ideal customer, and don't give any sort of things about what they buy. And a lot of times they'll talk about services and stuff like that. So you have to be able to have that down pat. You talk about lead gen, different sources, where they're coming from, and lead scoring. Again, you work in terms of your marketing people and how they get the information, whether that's at a trade show, whether that's on the website, and talk about maybe adding some additional questions, or to know about what product or what sort of freebie they got from you, in terms of actually qualifying that. And as a company, you don't need to change everything, and you don't need to be afraid to go after that target market, because in the end, you're going to be more successful doing that than doing anything else. And as you said too, you don't want to completely ignore certain people. Again, Walmart has a certain target market. They do. That does not mean, and I can tell you firsthand, I've seen it, that you have people of Walmart, and you also have normal people that are just going there to have this, whatever, just go in there, get my groceries. It's really close by.
Yeah.
And you also have people driving
midnight, and I need Tylenol for my kid.
And you also have people driving $50,000 vehicles, walking in, no problem, spending money, full suit, whatever, and just because, oh wow, I'm not ashamed to go to Walmart. That's not a problem. But you talk about the demographics and the socioeconomic situation of them. But the averages work out. Same thing with Costco too. I mean, there are some people that don't necessarily fit, especially where we're at.
Yeah, the Amish.
Yeah, they have horse and buggy parking at our Costco. At the Costco we were at,
but they have horse and buggy parking at Walmart. Pretty much anywhere you go around here, they have designated parking. For
but
horse
I don't
and buggies.
think the corporate marketing people are like, all right, how do we get
right,
to the
so
Amish
that's a good
people?
Point, right? So they're not
you
doing
accommodate somewhat,
guerrilla marketing to go infiltrate the Amish communities.
No.
But they're not turning them away. You're letting them through the door. If they want to come spend their money, come on in. So hopefully that gives you guys some ideas. I think that wraps things up for this week. We wanted to thank bensound.com for our intro and outro music. And thanks to you guys for listening. As always, you can tune in next time where we'll tackle another topic. And in the meantime, if you have any questions or feedback on today's episode, head to pushpullsales.com or tweet us, pushpullsales. Talk to you guys later.
See ya.